Hello and welcome to 2010 Villagers Podcast, episode 24. Joining me as always, I've got Ash Walker and Jack Salt. Seem to be in good spirits tonight, all of us, which is good after another long week.
Long.
Do we really seem to be in good spirits?
We were a minute ago.
I know.
I think it's the lack of beer, Sam.
Well, speaking of, now I need to make up
That's
for
it, man.
something on this
God's
podcast.
sake.
There you go,
What's
boys.
drinking? Here's my drink. We've swapped roles, Sam.
I'm on the tango, mate. I'm on the tango.
I have needed it badly after this week at work.
Yeah, I'm doing the keto diet, so it's this stuff from now on for me until I can go to the pub, and then two beers will be demolished within 10 seconds. But anyway, by the by.
So we have some stuff to talk about before we welcome our guests this week. Yes, as Salt alluded to, there potentially Freedom Days on the horizon, June the 21st. Let's all hope, and we're all getting battered watching England beat the Czech Republic the day after. But besides that, we have officially found out this week that Ferriby's season has been curtailed. Now, there's a key difference there in that wording of curtailed to null and void. Which we're going to discuss now. So obviously, first of all, we all knew this was coming. It's still disappointing not to see any Ferriby League games between now and August. That seems like an awfully long time, considering the last time we saw Ferriby play wasn't even in 2021. We do know that apparently the VARs is continuing, so we should see some stuff from Ferriby in that, hopefully. But I think the wording around this and the fact that they've made the point of stating in the statement from the FA that they're still actively looking at this restructure process that has now effectively been on hold for 2 years now, fills me with a little bit of positivity that we might not be playing in Northern Counties East League Division 1 when we kick off again in August next year, because I think the FA want to get this restructured done and maybe start afresh completely without coronavirus and any worries around that, touch wood, in August. So what do you two think to that?
It's, to be honest, Sam, it's an interesting read if you properly read the documents and stuff. It's really interesting to read, especially the results of the survey that were published. Obviously, the majority of teams voted to null and void, and that was kind of the outcome we got. But like you say, this restructuring is the main part of the cog now as to whether the season finishes with all the results expunged like we had last season, or whether we may actually end up being moved up into step 5. I'm not going to say promoted because it's not promotion; it'd be realignment. So yeah, like you said, Sam, it just kind of depends on whether they want this restructure to go ahead. I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to take all of the teams who are in the top 4 out of the 4 leagues that were going to get promoted and the new league to be created into step 4? Are they going to do that? Are they going to take the top 3, which in our case would be horrendous, and obviously we'd challenge it, but you don't know. They might scrap it. We don't know yet. They might just say, do you know what? Right, we've had such a shit 2 years. We'll just scrap the thought of it. We'll rethink it, and we'll just go again as it was with one promotion place, which would be very tough. But yeah, everything's sort of up in the air at the minute, isn't it? I mean, we haven't really got any formal decisions. I mean, the VARs, we don't know when that's going to carry on. Talk I'm hearing is mid-April, and playing maybe every few weeks in that. But we've got a long way to go in that, and we've still got a fairly long way to go in all of this pandemic and stuff. So we'll see. We've just got to take it week by week, I suppose, and like we have been doing.
Has he finished his essay yet?
Sorry.
That's a very good answer, that.
My apologies.
Good. It's better than mine. I was going to say I'm resigned to the fact that we're going to have to play Swallow Nest every fucking year the rest of my life.
There we go, ladies and gents. What was it? 2 episodes ago, he said he wouldn't be swearing anymore on the podcast.
I'm changing.
I'm allowed to this week. I'm allowed to this week. And no offense to Swallow Nest, they were just the first team that came to my head. No. Secondly, why would we get promoted? I'm missing something here.
Well, because the restructuring involves the top 4 going up, which has been the whole premise for the last 2 years, and we
Will they
are
not do it on
4th as the
PPG?
table stand.
No, PPG can't happen now, unless they play more games, which they can't.
Well,
So they're
if I
basically.
knew this, I won't be drinking Tango tonight. I'll be drinking something else.
So basically, what's happened is the season stopped, but it's not been null and voided technically.
Right.
So we won't play
this document.
You what?
You can tell I haven't read the document, can't you?
You can't you?
Yeah. Well, and also the VARs shouldn't go on until we can have fans in.
Well, I agree with you, mate. And
They should not go on so we can get fans in. It's not fair at all.
No, but I think realistically, by April, that's aligning with being able to serve alcohol outside.
Yeah.
I think they haven't specifically said anything on this yet. They've only talked about large sporting events. But I think under some of the restrictions we went through in the early part of the season, I don't see why by the middle of April we couldn't have a minimum of 150 fans in.
To be honest,
they don't know what they're doing from day to day. This lot.
To be honest with you, Jamie Forrester made a good point on Twitter the other night when it was announced. He said, "So we're not allowed to go to Hall Road down the road to play in the league, yet we're potentially allowed to go right down the other end of the country to Plymouth to play in the Vars." It doesn't add up to me. So yeah, he makes a valid point, and I think the point is valid from either side. But I just don't think anybody's going to win. It's just people have got stuff to say about everything.
Could have played Seaham as well. To me, if we'd beaten Seaham, and well, we did beat Seaham.
Yeah, but technically,
if we didn't have to replay the game, I think I'd be more up for it.
Yeah,
I just think it's Seaham.
Yeah, but can you not imagine the atmosphere though of that ground, knowing what's gone on in context with and that potentially being the first Ferriby game in anger that we're allowed back in to see.
Seeing as I've got wanted posters up in Sunderland, and Seaham is in Sunderland, not in Durham, what they claimed on Twitter. As soon as I've got wanted posters up of me and Seaham at the minute, I'm a bit of a wanted man.
My question on it would be, are the two teams that was due to play the Vars final last season still in this year's Vars? No, neither of them.
No, hang on, it was. Well, one was definitely Concert, who were definitely out. I think the other was West Auckland.
It was some Southern team.
Oh, was it? Who was it?
It was some Southern Mickey Mouse team from somewhere.
I'm going to have to search it now.
So I was going to say, if they were both out, they could create some sort of FA Vars finals day, and the first team get to be champions of the Vars for about 2 hours until Ferriby then win the final and we become the Vars champions.
Be nice, mate, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
nice.
Let's just hope that we do at least get that, or even friendlies or something. Or
I can't get excited for friendlies.
There has been talk as well that they could run the Northern Counties League Cup as like a summer tournament potentially to fill the gap between before the pre-season and the season starts.
It was Heaven, the other team, who were also out, by the way.
Right.
Can I have a point on the League Cup? That should not be a knockout.
Agree.
Put them in groups.
Needs
not
to be group stage.
Because you can't have us getting beat on the first round
and just not playing.
Because we got beaten the first round last year. There's no guarantee we're going to win the thing.
No.
So I want us to be grouped.
Yeah,
rather than a straight knockout.
And if you do that, you can do it geographically as well. Sorry, Sam, I know I cut in front of you, but you could have us in with Barton, Hall Road, Brig. Who's Bridge United? Who else could you have?
Biggest spenders in non-league football, the way they're going on Twitter.
Oh no. But yeah, that it could work. It could genuinely work if they were to plan it properly. But the one curtailment of it is, what is the point in doing it without fans?
Yeah, but like I say again, I think by April and May time, especially if you're letting fans back into proper football stadiums in May, then you should be able to do the Northern Counties League Cup.
Definitely.
You know,
just cut 150. Most teams would survive on that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, if you can have fans, yeah, absolutely, by all means.
I hope that they do come up with something, because as we sit here now, August is. All right, it's near the end of February, so August is 5 months away.
A long old time.
You know, it's a long time. So yeah, let's hope that there is a bit of creative thinking. I know that might be asking a lot from the board of the Northern Counties League. But we shall see. I'll say nothing else on that subject. We do have a couple of other bits and pieces to talk about, but we will do that after our interview tonight. We're back to a North Ferriby FC current player this evening who hopefully will join us soon.
I'm messaging now.
Yeah, good to see the ground looking in good shape, Jack, as well. Seeing you being down there today.
Yeah, it's looking lovely, mate. Aaron's been down to do the pitch and cut the pitch with Ali from City, and Dave's obviously been down working extremely hard, getting all the other areas of the ground in ship shape. Yeah, the pitch is looking lovely. It just needs some football to be played on it now. But yeah, everybody's doing well down there, and it's doing well, mate. We've got message. He's just saying let me try it. So we may have to wait a bit longer, but
it's okay. I'm sure we can.
Can I just? I'm not the only one who's going to get annoyed with friendlies from March, am I?
Well, it's not great, Walker, but it's football.
This is why they might only be glorified friendlies, but this is why the Counties League need to put some sort of tournament together and put a title to it.
It should not be a glorified friendly. Those they would be blood and thunder. Those things. I just can't be excited for watchers play Scunthorpe under 18s. I just can't. I sound selfish and I sound petty, but I can't.
Just as
I'll be excited for the first game, but not the second one.
Just as another side note, thank you to everybody who's watched our interview with Chris and Paul. It's doing really well, and obviously all the rest of the interviews, they're all doing fantastically. Kingies as well. We're working
getting
hard.
a mention on the new podcast that is it Jarmo and Tom Niven been putting together.
I listened to Jarmo's podcast. It's very good. It's definitely worth a listen. You should go watch it. Listen to it, watch it.
Did he say this about ours?
He said it was a good podcast. Yeah,
Did he say it's worth a listen?
I don't remember that bit, but I wouldn't say it's worth a listen either.
Reciprocate in your favour there. You should have not said it.
Listening to you is never worth it. So.
Well, no, I'm in a bit of a bad mood tonight. God, fine.
We were in good spirits before this. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Something's annoyed me in the first 10 minutes. I don't know what it is.
I think it's just been a long week for us all. I mean, our guest is taking a while to enter.
He said he's in the realms of Robbo last week.
I know, God, yeah, but at least we had Chris to talk to.
Yeah,
get Greeny.
Yeah. Get Greeny.
Oh my God!
We can have Greeny as.
Hey boys, that's something we haven't mentioned. The return of Shartin FC.
Yes.
On the 29th of March.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Six-a-side is back, obviously. Trying to get on.
We've got new signings in the offing.
New signing? Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know if we're going to have any new signings.
Can I just say, Shartin have got a football team already.
Actually, we need to be twinned by them. What's their sponsor? We need to get their sponsor printed on our shirts. Do they have replica shirts, Walker?
Has he got?
I don't even know what's wrong with him. He's moving. This is a shambles.
Oh,
there he is.
Can I just say, Shartin have got a football team.
Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah, so I looked to see if they had a shirt we could buy, but there's no luck.
Oh dear.
Brown, I think.
We're having a bit of technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Thank you to everybody for watching, as always.
Is this what we rank the Jessie J albums?
No, what we need to say is, I think we need to say we're not hopefully going to be in a relegation battle this season. I think the form we showed at the back end of last year.
I agree. I think we'll be all right. As long as we've got Rusi, we'll be fine. Rusi is the key to our success.
I'm the team we're trying to sign Rusi, you know.
A bit of good news that I can bring you. Both Les and Jill have had their COVID jabs.
Oh, brilliant news!
So I can report that to you. I know they're watching. Hi Les, hi Jill. Jill is an avid supporter now. She really is. She loves the show. I keep getting rave reviews off Les. So yeah, that's fantastic. I'm being sent another message now from our guest. He officially ranks top of the crap internet list. But well, actually no, second, just behind Ash. Just behind Ash.
Come on, it's cut off 3 times already. I'm not making consider this podcast. If I don't say anything, just move on.
We might have to cut some of this out, Shep. Should we just be quiet so you can cut it out?
So, after a little bit of technical difficulties, our guest has now joined us. Welcome to the show, North Ferriby FC player Tom Corner, our latest North Ferriby FC guest this week. Not victim. Promised to be nice, Jack. But he has written the questions, so if there's any you're not happy with, direct any complaints his way.
I will do.
He always complains at me anyway, so it's fine. Nothing that I'm not used to.
So first of all, we just got to say, Tom, how are you doing in lockdown? How's things going?
All right, thank you. Good. It's been all right for me because I've worked all the way through from last March, so it's been relatively normal. So it's been good. What about you for you?
Boring.
It's long.
Boring, bud. Just staying in and doing nothing.
Yeah.
It gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
But
just work, back home, sleep, work.
Yeah.
All it is.
Exactly.
Just hating not having football.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
It's absolutely horrible. But yeah, we've got some questions for you. Walker's decided to move off the face of the earth, but go on, Sam. We'll start anyway. Oh, there he is.
He's back. Right.
The internet's going, lads. The internet's shocking.
Well, just carry on for now.
See how far we get with you. Right. So we know basically we're going to start with the season that we've had. To start off with. So we've had the news this week that the season has been curtailed, but they are saying that the VARs is going to carry on. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that? I think we all probably knew this decision was coming, but what are your feelings on it?
Yeah, it's disappointing, and I think it was always coming. Like, we all lived in hope, but it was always going to happen. I think that it's fair to keep the VARs going, but also doesn't make sense. It's if you're okay to play in that, be okay to play in the league, whatever. But is it the right decision? I don't know. Could they have suspended it and played on through next year? Given next year we'll probably have a month off in January anyway, so the games that we've played already could sort of cover that period. But it is what it is now, isn't it? And we've just got to start again and start again in July and go from there, aren't we?
Yeah, we do. I think you make a fair point. Obviously, down at this level, especially, it tends to be through December, January, February. 60-70% of games get called off anyway because of the weather. So yeah, you could have had a valid idea there. And like you say again about the VARs, there's teams like from Plymouth and stuff still in it. We could theoretically draw them, but we can't play Hall Road that are 10 minutes down the road from us. So it is a little bit baffling. But yeah, it's disappointing. But what we would like to ask, how do you think the season was going for us before it got stopped at the end of December, which seems a long time ago now?
Yeah. I think it went well. Like, we had a bit of a slow start, which I didn't think we necessarily expected because of the players we brought in and how the improvement in training, all like that. I think we probably expected a quicker start than what we had. But then I think we picked up momentum and it was going well. The VARs results brought the team together and kicked us on again. I thought the VARs was a great thing for the team, which improved the league performances as well. But overall, I'd say we were on course. I watched the Gaffers podcast with you today. Exactly the same. We were on course. We were above where points per game what we wanted. So, apart from the couple of games early on that we sort of stuttered on, it's where we wanted to be.
Yeah,
So-
I think
Sorry, go on.
sorry, Jack. I think those few big performances in the Vars are just sort of really added something to a bit of a weird stop-start season. But it was, like you say, it was really kicking the team into gear, I think, and helping with the league. Which, it's just really disappointing. It's ended up like this.
Yeah, it is.
So, T, what areas do you think, as a team and also on a personal level, what areas do you think we could work on for next year?
I think I'm going to repeat what everybody else has said, but the clinical side of it, putting games to bed early on. We could be out of sight at half time and rest players, or enjoy the second half more than and for the likes of you sat in the stands biting your nails, because we've let the team get back into it from what was a comfortable first half. Suddenly, with 10 minutes to go, we're hanging on to a one goal lead or whatever. The game could be done and dusted at half time, but I think that's probably the biggest thing we can improve on. But I don't think we're far off that, to be honest. But
No, I agree. I think we've seen glimpses. We've seen it in glimpses in different games. We've just not had it all in one game yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting there. It's just like what people have said. I think for me, it's a mentality thing. It's we go out in the first half and we have 20-30 minutes dominating a team with a possession and the chance to. And I think possibly we think, well, we'll get another chance. But then as it goes later into the game, and like I say, you've only got 1-0 lead, suddenly you start sitting back and think, well, we don't want to lose that, and that causes you problems later on.
Yeah, it's obviously personally for you, talking about your season, you've obviously spent the majority of it in a new position, being moved onto the wing, obviously for the majority of the year. Was this sort of like a big shock to you, and how would you say you adapted to it?
Yeah, I guess it was. I didn't come in expecting to play on the wing this season, from speaking to the gaffer in pre-season, and then I think players came in, things moved around. We wanted to see how other people did, and to be fair to the other lads, Scotty when he was here, Hutch has done a great job up there. Easty, it sort of eased that for me, and then I think for myself, when I play up there, I sort of drift over to the left anyway, and then playing now, I have done it a couple of times before, and I think it's just, it was a shock. At first, I thought it's something new. It's quite exciting to play this completely different game. And the more and more I've done it, I've really enjoyed it. It's a completely different role, and the pressure of playing up front on your own, completely different to playing on the left wing. I've enjoyed it.
To be honest, when you think about it, it kind of works. Like if we wanted to go for a bit more of a direct approach, we could bag it into you, and then you've got Hutchie there to sort of run off your headers, and we all know Hutchie, he'll run for days. He'll run in behind for days. So to be able to have an outlet from you being able to win the headers, whereas when you were playing on your own, you'll probably agree that when the ball was going up to you and you were trying to flick it on, the runners weren't there. Whereas now, like you said, you've got Hutchie, you've got Easty, who are sort of like willing to run in behind. So that, I think that complements you playing on the left really well.
Oh yeah, because when I'm flicking them on, possibly last season, you're flicking them on, and sometimes you're flicking them out of play. It's as daft as it sounds, and moving yourself 10 yards back, it gives those runners like Hutch a chance to get onto them, because you can win as many headers as you want, but it's difficult sometimes for players like Emma or whoever's in behind you to read and gamble and get on them every time, and then get back in position if they don't get it. So it's definitely brought the best out of that sort of side of my game, definitely.
Yeah. And it's a different challenge for defenders as well, isn't it? They're not going to expect to come up against someone like you as a winger, maybe as a striker, but not as a winger. And also another threat in the box from crosses from the other side. Obviously, they've got to deal with the striker, but then they've got big tall man like you at the back post as well, as we've seen a couple of times. And it's just, I think it makes a whole new set of problems for opposition defences, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because chances are when you go up against the centre half, there'll be someone possibly as big as I am. So it's you're not going to win as many headers if you pull on a right back or a left back. chances are you've got a height advantage already, and it's I should win my fair share of headers against them.
Yeah, there was a good example of it. Was it the Seaham game where you had that goal disallowed, Tom, or was it Lower Breck?
It was Lower Breck, I think.
Was it Lower Breck? Yeah, you had one of the back post, which would, exactly as we've just been talking, but obviously it was ruled out. So that's another added dimension to your game, which is suiting you really well, we think.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll get me goals. I haven't done so far, but hopefully they'll come.
Hopefully so, mate. All right, go on, Ash.
You might let me wait. You might let me say something before I cut out.
Go on.
So, Tom, how much are you enjoying the Bars journey, or so far?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, we didn't get a chance last season, did we? And then just the drama. Obviously, you want to win them in a comfortable 3-0, 4-0 fashion, but the way we've won the games, it's just made it that bit extra special. And then, in the round that we're in now, or would have been in, you're in touching distance, aren't you, of the ultimate goal. And it's, to get a chance at this level of football to play at Wembley, it was one of the big things that the gaffer sold to me coming in, because playing a couple levels higher, you're in the FA Trophy, and obviously Ferriby didn't they, before, but you're not, the chance of getting there are less likely, but we've got every chance of getting there. And it's an exciting competition to play in every time you're playing, no matter who you're playing, because of the end goal.
Yeah, 100%. Do you have a favourite game that stands out to you from the journey so far?
Probably for me, the Withenshaw game, just because I scored. That one, but the Seaham one, just the battling performance, the way the lads came back. I think the way that we reacted in the Seaham game was a different reaction to the Withenshaw game. I think the Withenshaw game, we brought like a different dimension. So it was just, I think when Seaham turned up, they almost bullied us like on a man-boy level. Withenshaw, we football-wise just didn't turn up. And then the Seaham game, it was good to see how the lads, rolled the sleeves up and did it that way. Not just on a football level, but just manning up against, lads that were getting in our faces and making it tough for us.
Yeah, definitely. I think I think one point to make is I bet you were glad that the penalty shootout didn't go on much longer, because you were in a great way at the end, weren't you?
I think I'd thrown up 3 times and the gaffer said, "Do you not want one?" I was like, "Not really."
Oh God.
Bless you.
But that brings us nicely on actually to my next one, which was how do you think the players are going to get motivated and for having to play Seaham again? So, because obviously we've been told the Vars is going to carry on. We got a bit of a kick in the teeth saying we have to play Seaham again. I guess it's going to be pretty, when you've had no football for that long, it's going to be pretty easy to get back up for it, isn't it? And show that we really did deserve to get through to the next round.
Yeah, well, just the thought of football playing back down at Ferriby again is enough in itself. Whether it be against Seaham in the FA Vars or whoever it be in a friendly, everyone's going to be buzzing to get back. So I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, it's unfortunate what's gone on. Probably fair in the grand scheme of things, but I mean, I don't know what is the plan of it. When will it get played? What is the plan? I don't know how.
So I think the main plan, of what I've been hearing, is that the Vars starts from mid-April. So I think, what day did I get? I think it was about the 12th or something like that, and potentially playing a Vars game every couple of weeks to sort of make up the time.
Right.
But obviously they've got last year's final to fit in. So where that fits in between everything else, who knows?
It's a bit for me like the games last season that we lost due to the floodlights.
Yeah.
Having to replay them. We were 4-0, 4-1 up against one team, something like that.
Yeah, Rossington. Was it Rossington?
we were beating Rossington 4. I think you'd scored a hat-trick in that game as well, if I remember rightly.
I mean, we've all been white now anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it? But, Yeah, so it's similar to that, and I think we were all ready for that again. Cause it's like, well, yeah, we'll do it again. It's almost like we'll prove it again. And it's so and again, just the thought of playing football again, it's enough in itself.
Yeah. It's a good thought for us fans as well, definitely. Obviously, we pretty much get the same answer for this as you'd expect, but we ask everyone anyway. How far do you think we could go? Are we going to Wembley?
Definitely. I thought we were etching our name on the trophy, to be honest.
We've had Tillo saying he's bought his suit already. We've got TC engraving our name on the vase already. There's some
the next guest is already going to book the open top bus, aren't they?
No, it's good to have that attitude, and I think with what we've said this to other guests as well. With what we've shown in virtually all the games in the Vase, I mean, we've been behind in nearly all of them and found a way to come back. We're beating a great team like Northwich Victoria, and went into a Lions Den at Wivenshaw. I mean, I don't know what you felt about the atmosphere that day, but it felt like a really intimidating place to go.
Yeah.
And then we had the 2 home games with Lower Breck and Seaham and everything that went on with the Seaham game and penalties. I think it was just such a memorable run we'd been on. I think the momentum's definitely behind us for it.
Definitely. There's been drama in every game. Like, you get a cup run, you normally get a couple of rounds where, you just get through them. But in every round there's been drama, like you saw. Was it Lower Breck one where we had a goal disallowed? My goal disallowed, and then they down the other end while we were complaining and stuff.
It was low, yeah, because it was the first goal. Yeah, I remember it now.
And then we come back and scored. It was just drama in every round, wasn't there? It was, and you almost start thinking it's meant to be, but you don't want to speak too soon, do you?
No, definitely not. So, bringing it back round away from the Vase, obviously you've got a good relationship with everybody in the squad, but I think there's one player that we know that you have probably the best relationship with, and that's Captain Fantastic Tillo. So obviously, was you? I know he's mad, and I know he loves a drink. But were you friends before Tillo joined the club, or you just sort of formed a bond of having to come from York for each training and game?
Yeah, I've known Tillo a while. Couldn't tell you from when, but from York, we sort of hang around the same circles. He would often go out like drinking together in York before Ferriby. Played against him plenty of times when he was at Pickering. And he was always someone I found difficult to play against. And when the gaffer was speaking to about players we might bring in this year, I said, "What about Tillo?" Texted him straight away because he was interested. Tillo said, "Yeah, let's see what he thinks." And then it was the day I was coming down to meet the gaffer myself. To sign. Tillo, I think he was in the meeting just after me, and and then obviously we were travelling all the time together, and the relationship between us had built from being at Ferriby. We spent a bit of time together before, but he's been a great addition, hasn't he?
He has.
He has been.
He's an animal.
So is that another exclusive then for the podcast? Was saying that it was TC that got Tillo to sign for Ferriby. He told the gaffer that we needed to bring Tillo in.
Absolutely.
We'll take it, mate. We'll absolutely take it. So, a couple of quick ones now. Tito, what would you say is, I know you've probably mentioned it, but what would you say is your favourite moment of the season that we had so far?
The Wivenshaw game, I think. Definitely getting the equalising goal, and then the finishing result on penalties, and then the bus home. As much as I didn't go back to Levi's with Tillo.
He just ditched you, mate, didn't he?
How we get away with it, I don't know. Every week.
I think everybody noticed when we got Whose Bridge, I think it was. We all noticed that Tillo was still on the bus. We was like, Tillo, he was meant to get off at Escape. Now we're back to Levi's, mate. I was like,
you can't say no, can he?
No, he can't. He can't say no to a beer. That's probably his problem. So on the flip side, what would you say is the worst moment of the season you had?
The last minute goal at Emily, definitely. I know their gaffer, their players. A lot of their players played with them, against them a lot of times, and it was a big one to win. Well, it's the two of the favourites for the league, and after we dominated first half as we did, to lose it in that manner was a killer nightmare. But yeah, definitely that game.
Yeah.
Yes. So thinking about this level, Tom, which is your favourite ground to play at other than the Dransfield?
You've got
I would say from last season, Parkgate, just for the pitch.
Yeah, we've had a few Parkgates, haven't we?
Don't mind it.
It was a decent setup there.
Yes, it's not. There's nothing to not like. You don't have the decent stand set up like Emily have, but pitch wise, it's very good for level. To be fair,
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And then a ground at this level that's not so great to play at.
He's avoided saying the West. That's very nice.
I'm being positive. Remember.
Glasshoughton, definitely.
We're banned from there then. Great. Cheers, Tom. Another club to add to the list.
I've praised that ground. I don't mind that. It's weird. It's weirdly weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It is a weird ground.
There's something about the ground itself. It's all right, isn't it? It's just
yeah. Ollerton's still the worst. Hello to the people of Ollerton. I know you're watching, avid watchers, but yeah, that's still the worst.
Is that where the lights went off, Ollerton?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they couldn't find the mysterious key.
No, good changing rooms there as well.
I know.
Right, we're moving on quickly before we get complaints again. Right, so we're gonna go back a bit and talk about your football life in general. So what was your earliest experiences with getting into football? How did you start as in your younger days?
Earliest days, I was playing for just a local team in York, which my dad ended up managing. Just playing football, and apart from being as young as I can remember, I can remember running around my granddad's garden playing football. And then my dad got me into a team, and he was managing the team.
You were the captain then, I'm assuming.
I was the captain, everything. Managers Player of the Year every year.
Yeah. Everybody's had it.
Yeah.
Wow. Right, so you started at York's Centre of Excellence. So what was that experience like?
Really good. Still got loads of friends from there. The year group we had, a lot of players went on to do quite well. Still, I'll say some names, but people maybe not know. But my mate Jamie Opka went to play in Sweden. Ended up playing in the Europe. I think, did he come to Ferriby at one point? I think he may have played a few pre-season games at Ferriby. Brief.
Can't say I remember that one.
Kenny Lyles in that team. A lad, Michael Duckworth, who went on to play at Hartlepool, play Football League. So we had a good setup there and did really well, to be fair. And some lads have gone and done well. But yeah, and then went on from there to Grimsby when I was about 15. I think I was set up to go through all the York system into the scholars setup and everything, and then moved to Grimsby when I was 15, which came out of the blue. But at the time was just the best thing. Grimsby were in like League Two. I think it was a year in the Johnson Page Trophy final against MK Dons, and it just seemed the right decision for me.
Yeah. You've just answered my next question. So that you obviously played for Grimsby, ended up playing for the first team. How was it actually playing proper first team football?
Loved it. It didn't work out. Obviously, as you go into the first team football, you break into the first team, and your thoughts run away with you almost because you start dreaming of where it can take you. A big club like Grimsby they've got a good fan base. Had been up in the Championship before. Loved it. I think the problem, it probably came a bit too early for me there. I was 17, 18 when I got in the first team, and I mean I've tried my shirt on since, and it's like a bib. And I just think if that was me back then, you've obviously playing full time, so you've got your sharpness and all that. But in terms of physical stature, which you need in the conference, I think that's possibly part of what held me back, maybe, and just the expectancy of the fans. It's a big club. It was their first year in the conference, coming out of League Two, and every team that does that, I think they've got a right almost to go straight back up. But some good teams,
definitely.
And I think, yeah, and then but I loved it, and it was, I achieved my dream of playing professional football. So, it was short-lived, but I loved it. Yeah,
fantastic. And then you'd think I've been like spying on you, but I've done my research. Then you went to Spain, if I'm correct.
yeah.
Can you explain that for us?
There's a league football education look after when you're an apprentice. In case the lads that don't make it pro, you have the league football education, so you've got a bit of a fallback through them. Random, I was out of contract at Grimsby, drinking every day in York in the summer, no idea what I was going to do, and I just got an email one day asking if I wanted to go play in Spain, this third division team, like all paid for, paid. Your house was paid, they paid your wage. Full setup, and I was like, yeah, definitely. I think my other options were like, I knew John McDermott at Harrogate Town, I was going to go there potentially, and a few other people I spoke to, and I just thought, just couldn't turn it down.
Opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah. Football wise, it didn't do that much for me in all honesty, but in terms of the experience, it was like moving to Spain at like 19. Loved it. It was, it was superb.
Fantastic. Go on then again.
Just moving on a little bit, thinking about that. Your first stint at Ferriby now. What brought you to the club in the first place? What was the reason behind that move?
Billy. When I was at Grimsby, I was an apprentice. I'd gone on loan to Frickley with Billy and Bob, and he said to me then he would always come back in for me. And then I'd done reasonably well at other clubs, played like the Conference North level. And I think I was at Bradford Park. I'd gone on loan to Barrow to the end of the season, and we'd had a good run. And I think we nearly got in the playoffs that year when Ferriby, we were touching them. We dropped off towards the end of the season. And I remember Billy ringing me on the way to the Guiseley game, the playoff semi-final. Out of the blue, his number popped up, and he just said, "Do you fancy meeting me next week? I want to bring you in next season." And I was like, "Let me say to him, you're not on the way to your game?" And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry about that, but do you fancy it?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." And then met him in the Alta Sidora. Is it in the pub in? I can't remember where it is. On the way through to Ferriby, met him there.
Oh, Bishop near Bishop.
Yeah. Met him there, and yeah, that was it. I was sold. I'd met him before when I came back from Spain. I'd met him, and I was there. I think I signed the forms to come to Ferriby, and then didn't for whatever reason. I didn't. I was new into non-league football, and it was all a bit all over the place. And then I was speaking to Hausch as well when he was manager. So yeah, it's been coming. In fact,
You eventually came back.
yeah.
It's the thing with this place; you can't stay away for long. Go on, Ash.
Thinking about your first stint at the club, Tom, did you enjoy it despite only being a relatively short stay?
That reaction says it all.
Yeah, you can say no.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It was, do you know what? Pre-season, I came in and loved it, and I thought, good squad, pushing for going to be up there. And I don't know if you remember, I think in pre-season I'd scored 5 or 6 goals. And
I remember you scoring against Selby there. I remember that goal.
I scored 2 there. I scored 1 at Brig, and I can't remember where else we played. And I've scored quite a few goals, and I was thinking, I've got a chance of playing here. And then we got to the first game at Stockport, and I wasn't involved at all. And I was just like, yeah, maybe not for me. And yeah, I used to speak to Billy, and I said, if I'm not in your plans, then I'll move on. And he was saying, no, you are in my plans, you are. And it just, for whatever reason, I didn't get the chance, and then I picked up a couple of injuries, and it was difficult. But the club, I always loved the club, the way it was run, the way it was set up, and everything. It was just the football side of things, and I was competing against Tom Denton, who, I can't moan for not playing. Denton did what I did that year, so it was, I've got no qualms, and I speak to Billy now about it and everything, and we get on really well. It was just unfortunate, really, but that's football, isn't it? It's opinions.
What would you say the differences are, Tom, between the club then and the club now? How would you say it's changed?
Not massively. Biggest thing is the teams we're playing and the grounds we go to. The team was different. Obviously, there was a lot of big characters in that team back then. As you know, they took you to Wembley, didn't they? But with Les being back and Jill, it's exactly the same place for me. It's just, unfortunately, we're starting where we are. But the whole setup, I was so surprised when I came back in, and how good the pitch still was, and how much work everyone behind the scenes had put into it. Even down to the kits that we wear, everything had been thought of. And this club is run. I played at quite a few clubs, as you probably know, and this club is run as good as any at non-league level.
God, I totally agree there. And again, a running theme with the guests, saying such positive things about the club, but it really is true. Like, since Les and Jill have come back in, how it's run now, and it is just like the good old days, for want of a better phrase. But just having to start at a lower level. But I suppose that only means we can achieve things from there and go up and up. Hopefully, once we get this COVID nightmare out of the way. We can push on. But no, honest assessment there. These things don't always work out in football, do they? It's one of them things.
Yeah, definitely. It's football as a whole, but non-league football as well for you.
Yeah. Well, despite that, you've had a really good non-league career. Obviously, you've played for some good sides, like you've mentioned, Bradford Park Avenue, Scarborough. Both the Ossett teams, Tadcaster. So how would you say your non-league career has gone as a whole? And I think at this point, I'll say I remember. Am I right in saying, Ash, that Tom knocked Ferriby out of the FA Cup with Ossett Albion? So you scored the goal.
Yeah.
I remember that well. I reminded Greg of it every week at Tadcaster. Hated it. Non-league is it's a difficult place to play football. It can be brilliant and it can be really difficult. For me, I've loved it. I've had so many good times. You have your bad times, like at Ferriby the first time. But as a whole, it brings you so much. It brings you, like, you get, the community, like the people that you meet at, like, Ferriby, for example, and the whole package of. It's a different type of football to like league football or professional football. You're more in contact with the fans. You're more in contact with all the staff. And it's been up and down. I've had like really good times, and I would hold my time Ferriby now as one of my favourite times in non-league football. If not my favourite. Obviously played for a lot of clubs and stuff, and under different managers at different places. As soon as Ball's got in touch, the gaffer, should I say?
There's a fine for you, mate.
Yeah.
As soon as he got in touch, I actually got in touch with him and asked if he wanted a striker or a left winger, should I say? And as soon as we spoke, I knew really I wanted to come here, and it's definitely one of my favourite times I've ever had in non-league football.
What would you say was your next best then, if you take this current spell at North Ferriby FC out of it? So which other non-league club?
Second Grimsby out of it, and it was Conference Premier when I was playing, but So it's still non-league football, but taking that out of it, difficult, really. Like when I first came into it, and I went to Ossett Albion, and I eventually got bought by Bradford Park Avenue. Then I think my time at Ossett, then I loved it. Like it was my first manager, Phil Thompson. He got the best out of me. He sort of built a team around me and got the best out of me, which got me my move to Bradford Park, and that was, you know, a great time. Then Scarborough, loved it at Scarborough. The, you know, initial period at Scarborough when I left Ferriby, went to Scarborough, working under the gaffer, Footy and yours. Loved it. Like it's a great club, isn't it, Scarborough? You know,
it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I left, you know, certain reasons, and then I went on to Tadcaster and got a league title under my belt. So toss up really between the three, and then I loved it at Barrow. Like I said, when I went on loan there, so it's it's hard to pinpoint one club where, because I've sort of had such short spells at quite a few clubs, it's hard to pinpoint one area where it's been the pinnacle, should I say.
Yeah, well, it's good that you've enjoyed yourself though, despite if they have only been short stints. But talking about you know, achievements and things, just finally for this section, what do you want to achieve with the rest of your time playing football?
I want to stay at Ferriby, and I want to win as many titles as I can, you know, and get Ferriby as far up as I can. I can't see myself playing anywhere else, to be honest.
Good.
That's what we like to hear.
I genuinely, I love it. You know, I'm not saying that that's what I should be saying on this podcast with you lot, and if the gaffer listens to it.
Yeah, he does. So.
He does. So it's a good job you said. Do you know what? It's a good job you said that for Jill's mental well-being, because she loves you, doesn't she?
You let me out of the bar when I turned up. Said, "You're not." When I first met the gaffer this before the season started, she said, "You're not going anywhere else, are you?" I was like,
I apologise. Just as a bit of an interlude, we've got a bit of breaking news from the league. So the management committee of the league have decided that they're not going to hold a cup competition between now and the beginning of the season, mainly because of the lack of supporters being able to be involved. So,
is that on the bottom?
Yeah, just call me Jeff Stelling. Call me Jeff Stelling.
Jim White.
Yeah, Jim White. I'll take it.
That's the
I don't have the
podcast
hair.
first, isn't it?
It is.
Bit of breaking news.
Bit of breaking news happening right in the podcast. Fantastic, Tom. It's your presence, mate, bringing it in. But we'll get back on topic. So we'll go on to like your footballing heroes and stuff now. So as an overall, who do you support as a whole?
Liverpool. I'm sure Sam will be.
Come on. Right. Cheers, Tom. Right, we're gonna kick you off now. Bye.
And obviously, who would you say is the footballer that you look up to the most? Who do you sort of idolise?
Say Roberto Firmino. Now I am kicking you off.
I would as well, to be fair. He's terrible, but yeah, go
on. Football. What current? Or
any mate when you were growing up? Current.
Growing up. My earliest memory, my first hero was either Robbie Fowler or Gabriel Batistuta at Fiorentina. I remember what was it on Channel 5 where they used to have Italian football? And I used to remember watching Fiorentina on there and watching Batistuta, and he's the earliest I can remember. And then growing up, I used to love Thierry Henry. And he used to play on the left wing, didn't he? I don't think I play much like him, but
yeah.
Notice
how he didn't say Wayne Rooney, Sam.
No, he didn't say Wayne Rooney. No, Robbie Fowler, I suppose, is fair enough. But
absolute legend. And obviously, just as a final one for this time, who would you say was the main influence that got you into football?
My dad, definitely. Yeah, he played football. I think he maybe played at York Reserves, like that sort of level. Never quite made the grade for whatever reason. But yeah, definitely my dad, who used to take me out. Mum and dad used to drive me everywhere. I think I realise now how much they did, drive me here, there, and everywhere. When I've got to drive to Manchester for work, and I think my mum and dad used to do that on a Sunday morning for me. I think, yeah, definitely them. And then in getting into football, probably like further on in my career, probably Neil Woods at Grimsby, who took me there, and then he got the manager job for the first team when I was at the end of my apprenticeship, and towards the end of my second year scholar, he took me with the first team and then gave him my debut. So definitely Neil Woods, and then my dad before that.
Fantastic. All right, we'll go back to you, Ash.
We're going to think about life outside of football now, Tom. So what do you do? What do you do at home when you're not playing football? How do you relax, take your mind off the game?
Probably the wrong word, but take my dog for a walk. But he takes me for a walk.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, got an 8-month-old pup, so that at the moment. I mean, in normal times, I'm probably a bit like Tillo. Love going down the pub, doing the quiz on a Thursday at the pub, watching the football at the pub. Quite a simple life I lead, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's not wrong with that. Like going down the pub to watch the football, so we all advocate that on this show.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favourite sport other than football? What's your other favourite sports?
You're not allowed to say golf.
I do like golf. Probably to watch, I'd say darts or snooker or golf.
Yeah, darts.
Darts, yes.
I love the darts. Used to watch my rugby, but haven't been into that for some time now. Used to follow it when Leeds were top of the Super League, when you had Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield and all those, and then
nobody cares about Leeds, though.
So he's a Liverpool fan, and he used to like watching Leeds Rhinos. Wow.
Why do we like him? Honestly. But yeah.
But so you're one of the golf crowd then, like quite a few in this squad, it seems.
Can't play it, but don't mind watching it.
You got any trousers like Tillo's? Have you seen that picture?
Oh, they're naughty, aren't they?
God, they're awful, aren't they? Bless him. He'll get ragged to hell about that. But
he gets him out on the golf day.
Yeah, next time we have one next year, hopefully, if we can have it properly as well.
Yeah,
we can have a proper good day. So, right, T. Finally, it's the time you can dig some of your teammates out. Everybody else has done this. So we will start with the best initiation.
Best initiation. There's a few. Not because I drive in with him, but Tillo, hands down, superb. Just set the bar, didn't he?
Sam, you notice how nobody said mine?
Yeah, well, because yours was dreadful,
I'm
Jack.
sure you make that joke every time.
I do.
Sol, you played the Oasis card. You can't play that for an initiation.
Can't do Wonderwall as initiation. It doesn't count, does it?
I'm surprised I didn't get fined.
It's a fine, that. you can't do Oasis. As much as I love Oasis, you can't do that for especially Wonderwall.
Fully agree.
Well, you let me do it, so that's down to you. Worst initiation, T?
Worst initiation. Easty struggled, didn't he?
He said himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said himself was the best.
Yeah, fully agree with that one. He went up, looked the part, didn't he? And fully, I thought I was expecting something good. And then, what did he try to sing?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Or rap? Or
I was pissed. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Josh Bennett give him something to do, didn't he? Give himself something to do, doing the A team.
Oh God, yeah, I remember. I do remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was decent, was Josh, but yeah.
For trying it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tough song to say. I wouldn't have had the balls to do it. Let's put it that way. That's why I copped out. Who's the madhouse of the team?
Madhouse. Butts. Definitely Butts. Yeah.
We've seen that.
5-10 years ago, I think he's been Cannon. I think he's calmed down a bit, hasn't he?
He gets a mention every week, doesn't he?
He does. Well, we've got worst dressed to come yet. Who's the moodiest, Tom?
Moodiest. Tillo's moody, but I can't say him. Lou's got a strop in him.
And do you know? I think you're the first person to not say Loz.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Loz is moody. He's just angry, isn't he? Sometimes.
He can be. Who's got the worst trim?
Worst trim besides me.
You're allowed to say yourself.
Worst trim. Levi.
Oh, he won't like.
You won't like me saying that. He was wearing a flash and he looked like what's his name off Prison Break.
Oh, I know what you mean. I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Who's got the best trim?
Best trim. Nelly's always sharp, isn't he? I think he's missing a hairdresser. Yeah, I'll go with Nelly. Yeah.
Who's got the best dress sense?
Best dress sense. Do you know what? Watching your other ones, I thought of this. Joel. I'm going to say Joel.
Decent. And here we go. The weekly butts bashing. Who's got the wares? Who needs to go clothes shopping?
Do I need to say it?
sorry, butts, mate. Sorry. We'll skip over it for his sake. Who loves a red card?
Loves a red card. Besides me again. Loves a red card. Oh, Ewan probably pull someone's shirt his way into a red card, wouldn't he? I don't think he'd get straight red. He'd get yellows, won't he?
Yeah. Is that kind
he
of
likes
player?
a booking, doesn't he, Ewan?
The best techers.
Best techers. Jay, hands down.
You go every week.
Every week.
Same answer.
Oh, Kirky with his toes. You know when he toes them into the net.
Yeah.
That's a technique in itself.
It is. Just on a side note, how much has he come on this year, by the way?
Unbelievable. Like, I regularly tell him he's my favourite player at the club. But from what, from last year, he had a few injuries and stuff and was in and out. This year, he's been phenomenal. Like, different gear every week. Just, he's the perfect example of someone doing exactly what they're good at. Like, he's knows what he's good at and does it to a T. It's like very good player.
Definitely. Who's the best trainer?
Best trainer. Best trainer. Yeah, when he turns it on, I'd say. Or Emma. Emma, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Who's the worst trainer?
Worst trainer. Probably what thank me for saying it. I spoke to him earlier today. He said he was going to watch this. Jace is either phenomenal or horrendous. But when Jace has got so much, when he turns it on, it's quality. And then he'll try like a left-footed strike from about 40 yards and just ping it straight out of the 3G.
Well, that's all right. It gets Sean doing a job, so that's fine. We don't mind that. Who's the gaffer's best friend?
Easty. Definitely Easty.
Yeah,
Loves a chat with the gaffer after training.
And finally, T, who would you say is the most vain?
Most vain? Levi. Definitely Levi. Spends about 40 minutes combing his hair before he comes into the bar.
Well, I would ask who spends the longest in front of the mirror, but I know there's not a mirror in the changing room, so. But I think it would be Levi.
Yeah, definitely Levi.
Fantastic. Well,
I think you need to buy a mirror for this changing room, Salt, because you say that every week.
No, you see, that'd look a bit weird, Shep. Come on. You wanted me to buy him? Nah, that sounds a bit weird, that. Right.
Well, that brings us to the end then, Tom. So thanks a lot for your time, for coming on. Really good. Enjoyed that again. Good to talk through the season that was and everything else besides it. And then you get your your own back on your teammates at the end. Although I don't think many have been very nasty to you, to be honest.
No, you've
No, I know. To be fair.
Yeah,
been quite.
you did all right. So yeah, we hope to see you and all the rest of the lads soon, and hope we do get the Vars back or some friendlies or something. But yeah, just keep well through lockdown, and we'll see you soon, hopefully.
Thanks for having me.
Lovely stuff. Cheers, TC.
Oh, cheers.
Looking forward to seeing you soon, mate.
Yeah, likewise.
Lovely stuff. Take care, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Cheers.
And with that, that's our latest interview done and dusted. Another really good watch. He says every week, but again, thanks to Tom when he eventually got there with his technical problems. A lot of editing for you, Shep.
Yes, it's going to be a tough one this week. It's going to take me a while, but yeah, we'll get there and we will get that put out. Really enjoying this, lads. It's
100%.
You know, it's somewhat a bit different, and you know, to hear that Les and Jill watch it every week, and Chris Boulder watches it every week, and you know, and players like Jarmo and that talking about it on their podcasts and things like that. It's makes it worth doing, definitely.
And the willingness of people to come on as well, and it would be easy for people to come on and give two-word answers, but all of the answers we've had have been so thorough and so honest. I think honesty is probably one of the best parts of it. Everybody's been completely open. Yeah. Look at Tom there talking about his first time at Ferriby, just being completely open with us, saying that he didn't enjoy it, and I think that is what makes it worthwhile, knowing that they're comfortable enough to be able to speak to us in an honest way, and it's just going so well, and it's just going to get better and better. We've got better guests lined up.
Well, I won't say
that's the culture. That's the culture of the club. It's a good, honest group of lads, isn't it?
Absolutely, well. Because Sam, you think I'm talking bad of TC there? I love TC. I've always loved TC. He'll know that. But we've got some special stuff lined up, haven't we, boys?
Oh, well, you two do. You never tell me.
I don't even know. This is the last one I knew about. This is new territory for me, Sam.
Well, there you go.
But no, we have. You know, we've had North Ferriby FC players, management, other staff, and then we've had obviously some. I mean, Kingies was brilliant, and we're going to look at more of that as well. Former players. So yeah, we're enjoying it, and obviously, hopefully, we may, if weather permitting, might be able to have an episode back together in the not too distant future, outside, socially distanced, of course. But March the 29th is the first step towards that. But we do have some more things to talk about actually before we go tonight. The first thing I want to mention is the news this week that with the news about the season. Les, the chairman, and his directors have made the decision that anybody that had bought a pass for the season 2020-21 that's been curtailed will be offered a free pass for next year due to the limited amount of games that were actually played and could be attended by fans. I mean, I can't even say I'm surprised by this because it's just the exact type of gesture that you expect from someone like Les.
Arise, Sir Les. What a man!
The man's a legend.
Great man.
Fantastic gesture. I mean, he didn't have to do that, and maybe flies in the face of people that come out and say that we beg for money as a club or we do this, we do that.
They'll still say it.
He looks after.
Jealous.
But at the end of the day, we feel looked after as fans. We feel part of the family, part of the furniture, and something like this only goes to cement that.
That's why we get 300 every week, Sam, because we make it nice for people to turn up. Les welcomes people to the football club. That's why we get 300 people in every week.
Everybody gets the 5-star treatment.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah. Exactly, and that is a great point, Salt, that you've just made. Whether you've been going to Ferriby for as long as Mike Dixon has, or whether you're turning up as a neutral who's on a ground hopping day, or you're an away fan who's never been before, everyone gets given that same match day experience and same treatment, and that's why the reputation of Ferriby, apart from the couple of years under certain other people that we won't mention, has always been
Future guest.
Shut up.
has always been amazing. So Les, as a pass holder from last season, you know, thank you very much. It's a brilliant gesture, and yeah, nice one, and glad to hear that you're watching the show. And the final point that we want to raise tonight is that it's very near. Well, by the time this video goes out, it's time for the auction. Now, we had a meeting last week with Ash's boss, and
The other boss.
The other boss. His missus is his actual boss.
Yeah.
She's the boss. Max, the other boss.
Yeah, and Junior as well, James.
Yeah.
Regarding the auction, went through the items. I gotta say, there's some fantastic stuff on there. There really is. You know, it's going to be an exciting few weeks, and hopefully raise a fortune. Again, by the time this goes out, there will have been an intro video that we're looking to do to explain everything you need to know about the auction. That will be led more by Jack and James than by me. But yeah, just to say that, you know, I think there's going to be a viewing period and then an actual bidding process, which will all be explained. But just to you two, I mean, we've had, you know, quite an exclusive of seeing the list, and it is really exciting. You know, I think the club are going to raise a lot of money, and thank you to everyone that's donated items, and there really is some brilliant stuff on there.
There's things on there that you just say to yourself, "We're going to make money," isn't there? You know, there's lots of things on there that people are going to be clamouring for, which is great. And fair play to Mark, James, everyone who's worked hard behind the scenes as well to get all that.
Absolutely. Superlatives can't describe what good of a job Mark's done for this auction, and James. Both of them putting together catalogues and order forms and getting over 100 items sent to him, and having to... He's basically a post office from his own home now, Mark. He's getting deliveries every day. The postman loves him.
And he came round the other day to pick some stuff up. Yeah,
he's
courier service the other day.
He's done so well, and
he has. I mean, he's pulled some real rabbits out of the hat as Mark, and he's got, you know, he's got a lot of contacts that you maybe, you know, wouldn't know about, but he's and people have. I think people have showed again. Again, it comes to the, you know, the hard work of people like Mark, James, you know, and again the reputation of the club. If a club's got a standing like ours has, people will want to try and help it and donate things and get involved in bidding on things, you know. So it's we hope it goes really, really well. I think it will, and we can't wait to see what the final figure is that's raised for the club.
Yeah. We've all made predictions, haven't we?
Yes,
we have
made some predictions.
Yeah, we'll see who did the best at the time, but we won't say what our predictions are yet. I don't think.
Yeah. So £1 million is a bit.
Yeah, you know, £1 million from Salt was a little bit ambitious, maybe. You know, Jamie Waltham hasn't donated his caravan, so you know we're not going to get £1 million, are we?
Fantastic.
That's gone as a guest, Sam.
I know. Come on, Sam.
Oh, sorry. Have I revealed next week's guest early?
No.
Just to be clear, everyone, I have said that over my dead body.
We've been winding him up, haven't we?
We've been
on this podcast.
We've been not on your podcast. Though,
he's not coming on. He's not coming on. It's just a bit of banter. We're winding Sam up.
We don't want to give
life's best work is winding Sam up.
It is that very true. Very true. I live my life in happiness knowing that I'm able to wind Sam up like that.
Oh, you do it so well, the pair of you.
Exactly.
You know, this is why I don't find out about the weekly guest until 10 minutes before the show.
That's rubbish because
all without me.
That's rubbish. You knew about this guest way before. But yes, anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, quite a bit.
I'm back.
Where had you gone?
Wherever this internet signal takes me. I think I was in Jamie Walt's castle in Dunswell.
Right. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. you know, you will see by the time this video goes out, the auction will, the information certainly of all the items will be out there, and you can have a look for yourself and see if there's some things that you might fancy. And obviously, all the money going to the club at the end of the day. So yeah, really good thing we've got coming up through March. As we look towards things, hopefully brightening up a little bit, and for us, it's our pre-season, isn't it, lads? Not the likes of TC and Danny East. It's our pre-season training is now
waiting for the pub.
Waiting for March the 29th for the return of six-a-side. But anyway, we will see you all again next week with another guest who I'm sure is going to be up to the level of all the other guests that we've had on so far. So thanks again to Tom Corner, tonight's guest, sorry, I should say, and thanks as always to Ash for battling through with your internet, and Salt.
It's been horrific tonight. I apologise.
It's fine. You got through it. You asked some questions. That's all we need.
To you, Samuel.
Thank you for putting the interview together, and I'll see you both next week.
You will. Have fun. Have a good week. Stay safe.
Bye.